Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to look at creditors reconciliation. In activity 1, our focus was receiving a statement from our supplier, which means an external source, and we compare it to our creditors ledger. In this activity, we are going to look at the creditors control account must be equal to the creditors list. Why should this be equal? If I've taken a transaction to the relevant journal and from the journal we've posted it to the individual's account, which is the creditors ledger, from there I compile the creditors list and we've taken the totals from the journals to the control account, which is a summary of all my creditors. If we've done the process correctly, it means that the creditors control account should be equal to the creditors list. But we all know that mistakes do happen. So this is why we need to reconcile to see what are those mistakes and we need to fix them. So if I look at the information provided, the creditors control account reflected a balance of 58,270 on 30 April 2014. The list of creditors on 30 April 2014 was as follows: 62,450. So there's a difference, and now we need to look for those differences to correct it. So the first transaction, the balance of Mango Traders account was calculated incorrectly. It should be 8,965, which means we made a mistake with the individual's account and not with the control account. We need to open Mango Traders. The balance according to the list of creditors on 30 April is 8,465. It should be 8,965. We have understated the total with 500. We owe them more money. This is why it will have a positive effect. Transaction number 2. A credit invoice for 3,820 for trading stock purchase from Serengeti stores was incorrectly posted to the account of Serengeti wholesalers. We made a mistake where? With the individuals, not with the control account, which means we need to open Serengeti stores as well as Serengeti wholesalers. Now, what have we done incorrectly? We've posted a credit invoice for 3,820 incorrectly to Serengeti wholesalers. So to correct this, we need to take it out so that the correct account can be credited with 3,820. So by taking it out, it means that we owe Serengeti wholesalers less money and we owe Serengeti stores more. Transaction number 3. A payment of 7,200 made to Post Network was recorded as 2,700 in the CPJ and posted as such. This means that we made a mistake with the transaction posting it to the journal. We need to correct it in the creditors control account as well as in the individual's account in Post Network. So a payment appears on the debit side. Why on the debit side? Because we owe them less money. It was recorded as 2,700. It is supposed to be 7,200. This means we have understated the payment. The difference is 4,500. So I need to add 4,500 to the debit side to show that we owe them 7,200 less. please remember, we need to add 4,500 to the debit side. Because we add it to the debit side, it has a negative effect. A credit invoice for stationery purchase from Mango Traders for 825 was not recorded at all. This means we've omitted the transaction in the relevant journal. So we need to correct it in both the creditors control account as well as in Mango Traders. A credit invoice means that we bought on credit, we owed them more money, so we need to credit both with 825 and that will have a positive effect. Transaction number 5. The creditor's allowance journal total was overstated by 480. This means we made a mistake in the control account. It has nothing to do with the ledger. So in our creditor's control account, we've overstated, which means too much. Where does creditor's allowance journal appear in the creditor's control account? It appears on the debit side, which means we now need to take that 480 and add it to the creditor's control account on the credit side. Again, just what's happening here, the credit allowance journal is returns to our suppliers, which means we owe them less money. And we have overstated that amount by 480. This means we owe them more money because we overstated our returns. The debit side, overstated, means we owe more money. Transaction number 6. Goods costing 2,100 returned to Rivera distributors was recorded correctly in the relevant journal. It was, however, posted to Rivera's distributors account as a credit purchase. We made a mistake in the individual's account. It has absolutely nothing to do with the control account, which means we're going to open Rivera Traders, distributors, to show that the returns was recorded as a purchase. So Rivera Distributors account was incorrectly credited with 2,100. Now just a reminder, how do I know it was on the credit side? This is basics you've learned in grade 8, 9, 10, 11, where credit purchases appears from the creditor's journal on the credit side. So it means the credit side was incorrectly credited. So to correct this, we need to debit the Rivera Distributors account. But by debiting the account, we've only cancelled that 2,100. We still need to show, but 2,100 worth of goods were returned to our supplier. So we still need to record the transaction. This means the debit side, we must add 4,200. And a reminder why, because number 1, we need to cancel the transaction, and number 2, we still need to record the transaction. This will now have a negative effect on the balance. So if you now look at this answer booklet, this is how it will look in an exam. We have to adjust the creditor's control account. If there's no entry, we must say no entry. And we need to adjust the totals in the creditor's list. So our step number 1 is start with the balances from the information provided. And we write it in brackets. Once we've done that, we add and subtract. And we make the changes at the same time. So it means transaction number 1. If we made a change in the creditor's control account, we need to make a change in the creditor's list at the same time. Once I'm done making all the changes, we now total the creditors control account and the creditors list. Do not forget to add that 58,270, the balance given to you in the beginning. If we've done this whole process correctly, it means now that the creditors control account is equal to the creditors list. I hope that you've enjoyed this activity. Next activity, we will look at an exam type of question and how do we actually approach it in an exam. I hope you all have a wonderful day.